Thank you for joining us today for us to discuss with you the Michigan Transfer Steering Committee report. As a state that lacks a higher education system, Michigan students have faced the challenge of not having a uniform system of transferring courses from one institution to another. While important work has been accomplished with the creation of the Michigan Transfer Agreement in 2014, students still struggle to transfer all of their course level credits to their transfer destination. During the 2015-16 academic year, university and community college representatives met to study what solutions could be found, particularly in transferring the second year of coursework at community colleges. This led to the creation of the Transfer Steering Committee in the fall of 2016. In our meeting in October 2016, we recognized this statewide problem through the research that had been compiled. It included national research that showed that while our students transferred at a rate above the national average, our students face below national average rates in the transferability of awards and completion. In short, Michigan students transferred more and earned less credentials. The steering committee found that we had individual agreements that included multiple colleges and multiple universities, but it was challenging to manage hundreds of agreements that often changed with little notice. We decided to convene cross-sector discipline-specific faculty groups from colleges and universities, provide support from registrars, advisors, program admissions, and faculty, focus on agreements in high enrollment and completion programs, and finally, clearly communicate information. The cornerstone of this effort was the work done in researching transferability at the national and state levels. The research helped us to better understand how transferability occurred among our community colleges and universities, what patterns existed and could be strengthened, and what challenges remained. The graphic on the left shows just how NMC students transfer to 20 different destinations. Imagine the complexity of 28 community colleges transferring to the number or greater, and how to manage that for our students. Our research work, for instance, done by Jason Taylor's Post-Secondary Transfer and Mobility in Michigan, helped the committee to understand the many facets of the student experience with transferability. With this understanding, it soon became apparent that we needed to focus on program pathways that included assuring course equivalency for transfer. One of the first steps beyond our research was to establish the goal for the committee and for our effort going forward. As the goal notes, we wanted our students to experience a transfer process that was easy to understand, simple to navigate, and more efficient. Of course, noting the primary transfer problem, we wanted our work to result in greater attainment of associate and bachelor's degrees.
After listening to the presentation at the first Transfer Steering Committee, members from several colleges from the middle part of the state, including Gene Goodnow, former president at Delta College, Deb Huntley, provost at Saginaw Valley University, and myself, discussed the possibility of taking the first leap off the diving board, so to speak, by attempting to address the problem on a regional level. We met several times to discuss thoughts on the idea of hosting a symposium where we would bring faculty and advisors together to work on developing a list of common courses that would transfer as direct equivalents across institutions. Because of its popularity, psychology was chosen as our pilot, and the first symposium was scheduled for May 2nd, 2017, hosted at Mid-Michigan College. Distinguished colleagues from across the Middle Michigan region gathered to discuss this issue. After listening to a similar presentation to the one at the fall 2016 Transfer Steering Committee meeting, participants were randomly assigned into work groups and given a community college pathway along with a university pathway. Groups were tasked with navigating their way through these pathways in 4 years with as little credit leakage as possible, as our students are asked to do nearly every single day. At the end of the day, our hope was to highlight the issues of transferability, or lack thereof, of psychology courses, begin the identification of 5 psychology courses that would transfer between all represented institutions, and discuss potential future coursework that may assist two-year institutions in developing new courses. Tools were identified to allow work groups to work offline, after the symposium, and a follow-up second symposium was scheduled for the fall of 2017, held at Saginaw Valley State University. Around this time, Deb Huntley and myself also presented our impressions and thoughts to the entire Transfer Steering Committee. After some great discussion, the entire Transfer Committee decided to adopt this basic process, developed regionally, and apply it statewide. It was at this point that we officially entered phase 1 of the My Transfer project. The selection of phase 1 pathways was based on researching the degrees that best met our goal. At this time, as the graphic shows, these were the top baccalaureate degree programs in the state of Michigan. So we started with this list as our base for consideration. In addition, we added programs like engineering, English, criminal justice, and public health for additional consideration. This is a picture of the actual initial vote tallies from phase 1 selection meeting. After some good discussion and debate, we decided to continue our work on psychology, as that was what started us down this path. The committee also decided we wanted 2 liberal arts programs and 2 occupational programs, as we wanted to stay balanced and wanted to start out with a workable number of programs. We avoided programs like nursing due to the unique accreditation requirements and how each college meets them. In the end, in addition to psychology, general business, biology, and criminal justice were selected as the 4 programs that would encompass phase 1.
Based on the work of the committee to select the first 4 program pathways, the next step in the process was to bring together the faculty, staff, and administrators from all of the community colleges, public universities, and some private colleges who worked through the requirements of each pathway. Here was where the hard work occurred, as the representatives discussed what each pathway required for the first 2 years of the program, so that the community colleges knew what to offer and could expect to fully transfer to the 4-year schools. We did have to overcome some intercollegiate differences over credit hours and course outcomes, as well as the occasional territorial dispute, but we were successful in making the process transparent, and this helped resolve most differences. Among the fruits of this work was that community colleges were encouraged to develop some courses that the universities were willing to transfer, but had not been offered by the colleges. Most importantly, it provided all clear guidance about what would meet the student pathway requirements. Thus, the goal of this pathway work was in focusing initially with the highly enrolled programs of psychology, biology, business, and criminal justice to figure out which major specific courses would be needed in the sophomore year that could transfer to universities and fulfill major requirements for the bachelor's degree. As this graphic illustrates, our focus was on those courses between the MTA and the junior and senior level bachelor requirements. The pathways did not replace former ways of transfer. They built on the prior work and extended it to create as much statewide practice as possible. The result of this collaboration in phase 1 was establishing those courses that comprised each pathway beyond the MTA block. Community colleges were totally on board, and most universities joined us in the partnership. The essential part of this work was at the course level to determine and agree upon the equivalency of each course in the pathway among the partner schools. As you see, this phase led to over 6,000 course equivalencies. After phase 1, the committee led 2 more phases of work. Each phase worked on 4 more pathways to design. In these later phases, not every pathway worked. 2 of the designated pathways, English and computer science, ultimately were not established because there was insufficient agreement on the requirements for English majors, and there was weak alignment between the application-based computer technology that community colleges teach and the more theoretical computer science that is the focus of the universities. But the committee concluded its work with a total of 10 pathways. Again, it shows that the vast majority of community colleges are participating, and most universities have followed suit. It also resulted in the expansion of some community college programs to meet this new transfer opportunity. At Northwestern, this work has greatly helped to clarify the transfer pathways in the 7 pathways where we have programs. In particular, it has strengthened our ties with our primary transfer institutions and helped us to solve transfer problems more swiftly. Like other colleges, it has led to adding more transfer courses to fill out the full 2 years of the major at NMC.
Mid-Michigan College is a participating member in 10 My Transfer pathways. These pathways have greatly simplified the transfer process for our students. In addition to clarifying many of our existing transfer programs, it has led to the creation of new pathways, giving students more options to pursue their educational goals at additional four-year university partners while saving significant money in the process. It has been quite a journey to date, with many success stories along the way. We would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the contributions of the many that have brought these accomplishments to fruition. First, thank you to our colleagues at Mid-Michigan College, Delta College, and Saginaw Valley State University for their courage to jump off the diving board and create the first pilot. Since then, nearly 1,000 faculty, staff, and administrators have participated in My Transfer. That is an absolutely amazing number. Thank you for your very hard work. And thank you to our colleagues at Michigan Community College Association and the Michigan Association of State Universities for their ongoing leadership and support.
So we continue to work together on the Transfer Steering Committee. We've expanded and enlarged our membership. Now representatives of all 28 community colleges, 15 public universities, and many private universities are represented. And we've got a couple of projects underway. One of these is My Humanities, which is convening our 2- and 4-year faculty in history, theater, communication, and English to explore greater transferability among our institutions. And the other is My Workforce, which is building transfer pathways for applied associate degrees with the goal of creating bachelor's completion pathways. Thank you all very much for joining us. If you would like further information, you're welcome to contact Scout or I for further information. Thank you.